Hey guys, it's Maddie, and today I will be doing my wrap-up for the VIEW-A-THON. So this was not a read-a-thon, this was like a watch-a-thon. I've never done like a TV watching-a-thon before. It was my first time, and so this watch-a-thon, I keep wanting to say read-a-thon. It is not read-a-thon. This watch-a-thon had a whole bunch of challenges regarding to TV shows and movies. I forget who this was hosted by, but I'll leave a link to the Twitter page down below in case you want to know more about it. So I joined in on this watch-a-thon late. I only found out about it the second day it was going on, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so cool. And so I decided last minute to participate in it, and I would have made like a to be watched video, but like I only just found out about it almost in the middle of when it was happening, and it was too late to post one. So I thought, well, I'll just do a wrap-up of what I watched during this watch-a-thon. So like I said, there were a whole bunch of challenges. I completed all 10 of them. It's super easy to complete watching challenges, more so for me than completing reading challenges, because it only takes like 2 hours to watch a movie, and it takes like 4 days for me to read a book. So it was very easy to complete the challenges, and I had a lot of fun during this watch-a-thon because I don't set aside time for watching TV or movies. I way prefer reading. Anyone who knows me knows that I am not a movie person. I'll only watch a movie if it really interests me, or if it's a book to movie adaptation. Other than that, I won't watch it. So it's very hard for me to get into movies. So I really went out of my comfort zone with this watch-a-thon, and I discovered some TV shows and movies that I ended up really liking, and I never would have watched if it had not been for this VIEW-A-thon. So I had a lot of fun this week, and I'm really glad that this watch-a-thon exists, and it has moved me to want to find more watch-a-thons. I'm sure there has to be more, like on Twitter or something, because I want to participate in these more often. I think it was really fun. So enough rambling, I'll just go through each of the challenges and let you know what I watched for each of those. So the first challenge was to watch a TV or movie that was made in the 90s. So for this one, I went with a Disney movie because the best period for Disney movies was the 90s. That's when the Disney Renaissance was going on. That's what it's called. That time period just had the best Disney movies, and that was when Pixar was created, so a lot of great movies that Pixar made came out during that time. I watched one of them. I hadn't seen this movie in so long, and it was A Bug's Life. This is a movie from my childhood. I used to watch this movie so much, and I just really love it, and watching it now, you kind of get a new appreciation for it. I find that with a lot of Disney movies, when I watch them as an adult, some things that I have not realized about the movie come to me because I understand the movie more. And a lot of things in the movies when I was a little kid went over my head, so I really understood like all these references, and I definitely got that with A Bug's Life. I just really love this movie. I love that it's about a character who is an underdog, who finds his voice and ends up believing in himself. I really love those kinds of stories. So I love this movie. It has a lot of funny moments, and I was so happy to watch it again. And of course I give it a 5 out of 5 stars because nostalgia. I can't give it lower than that. Next challenge was to watch a TV or movie that is set place in a different country, and knowing me, I knew an anime would be perfect for this one because anime most of the time takes place in Japan, which is a different country from me. So I ended up watching this anime movie that is really popular right now. It is called Your Name. I have been hearing about this anime movie for so long, and it always interested me because it's a movie where these two characters switch bodies. I love movies and books where the characters switch bodies. Like, I love Freaky Friday. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. So I just love that theme, or that, not that theme, that trope. Get your terms together, Maddie. But anyway, I just really like this. And I won't spoil it, even though I really want to talk about it, like really bad, but there was a element of, I don't even want to say that because it'll spoil it. There was something really unexpected and interesting about it that included another one of my favorite tropes. in it, and I'll just say that. But I really enjoyed this. It was just so interesting, and it had a plot twist that I did not see coming, and it just really messed with my head in the middle of it. And it was overall so cute, so emotional, especially the ending. I was like, oh my god, I got all of these feels. I just really enjoyed it. I'm so happy I finally saw it because I have actually been meaning to see this movie for so long, and finally I found time to watch it, and it was really good. I'd highly recommend it. And I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The next challenge was to watch a film that has magical elements in it. So I misread this one the first time I read it. I thought you could watch a TV show or a movie that has magical elements in it, because all the other challenges were saying like a TV show or a movie. So I assumed it was the same with this one, but then I reread it again and I was like, oh god, no. It says a film that has magical elements in it. And I ended up watching a TV show that has magical elements in it. I was like so disappointed, but at least I only saw one episode of this TV show. So that was Once Upon a Time. I have only watched the first episode to this like years ago, and I did find it really interesting, but not enough for me to continue because I'm not a big TV watcher, so especially back then I just wasn't really interested in watching anymore. But I do definitely want to continue on with this TV series because it does sound really interesting, and the fact that it's about fairy tale characters coming into the real world and like they don't know they're fairy tale characters, like that sounds so cool to me, and I just don't know why I never kept up with this TV series, especially because it's really popular. I have heard that this series was just recently canceled, so that's kind of sad, but I mean, I have all of the rest of the episodes I haven't seen yet to catch up on, so I have a lot to watch, and I definitely want to keep watching it. And then after that, I was like, well, I do actually need to watch a film that has magical elements in it to count for this challenge. So I ended up seeing a Disney movie that I have never seen before. It came out last year, and it was a Pixar movie, and I had been really wanting to see it, and that is Coco. This one I've heard a lot about, and because it's a Disney movie and like I can't not watch a Disney movie, like that's just absurd to me. I'm like, I have to watch this movie. While watching it, I was like, oh, this is okay. Like I wasn't really feeling it within the first like half of the movie, but then it really started to pick up, and a lot of interesting twists and stuff started happening, and by the end of it, I was freaking crying. I did not expect for this movie to make me cry, but like the very last scene just made me overcome with so many emotions. Like it completely took me off guard, and it bumped my rating for it up to a 5-star. It was like at kind of a 3-star before, but then I was like, holy crap, I love this movie. It was so well done. I love the message of it, and another thing I love about this movie is that music was so heavily present in it, and like I've said before, I love music and I love stories that involve music in it, and this one is about a boy whose family does not want him to be a musician because a member of their family abandoned his family to pursue a career in music. So they've always been against music, but this kid wants to be a musician. So I just really loved it. Like, it was so well done, and the family element to it is so strong, and the family dynamic is so present, and I just really enjoyed that. So I'm really glad I got to see it, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The next challenge was to watch a live event. So I had already knew I was going to watch this one live, so I'm like, this is perfect, and that was the season finale of Big Brother. My favorite show in the whole world. This season it was Celebrity Big Brother, which I was worried about once I discovered that celebrities were going to be doing the game. Because with celebrities, they're so conscious of their image that I wasn't sure if they would be competitive or lie in the game, because with this game you have to lie sometimes. And so I was worried that celebrities weren't going to be the best players because they were always worried about their image, but let me tell you, these celebrities were brutal. I was so surprised. I just really enjoyed this season, and I was not expecting to love it as much, and the finale was really good. The two finalists were both people who I thought deserved to win. Like, I loved both of them. One of them I did love a little more than the other, but I'm still glad that these were the two finalists because I think they definitely deserve to be there, and it was just such a great finale. I cannot wait for Summer Big Brother. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. So I want to apply for Big Brother, and I am going to do it. What you do is you need to film yourself, and then you submit it to CBS or whoever is in charge of casting for the show, and I'm just hoping that, like, I'll be able to get on. I don't know if I will, but if I get chosen, like, my life will be made. I'm like, this is the top of my bucket list right here. Like, I really hope so. So I'm going to make an audition tape this week because I really, really want to get on. So cross my fingers that it'll happen. But yeah, anyway, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars because it's Big Brother. It's my favorite show. Like, how could I not? The next challenge was to watch a TV show or movie that you haven't seen in 5 or more years. So I had a lot of options with this one. I went with another Disney movie because can't get enough Disney for me. And I went with The Rescuers Down Under. So I used to watch this show as a kid, I used to watch this movie as a kid growing up, and I really enjoyed it as a kid. And I hadn't seen it in more than 5 years. I want to say like 10 years. It's been so long since I've seen it. So I decided to watch it again, and I did enjoy it for a second time. With this one, though, I don't feel like I enjoyed it as much as I did when I was a kid, but I still really liked it. There were just some things about it where I was like, this doesn't really fit the story, or like more could be added to it that kind of bothered me, but I still did really like it. And this one, if you don't know, is a sequel to The Rescuers, which The Rescuers has an original first movie, and this one takes place in Australia, which is really cool. I almost consider this to count as my movie set in a different country, but then I was like, I want to pick an anime for that one. But this is one I hadn't seen in 5 more years, so it completed that challenge. And it's about the rescuers saving this boy who is kidnapped by a poacher. And one thing I really liked about this, which is something I hadn't realized as a kid because I didn't know what poaching was, is how it brings out the issue with poaching and killing animals for sport or for money. How it brings out those issues, because that is something that is still a problem today, and I absolutely hate it. Like, I just don't understand people who kill animals for fun. Like, how sick is that? I just hate it. So I really liked how this movie brought that theme to light, and it was just a great movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I definitely enjoyed seeing it again because it had been so long since I'd seen it. The next challenge was to pick a TV show or movie that a friend picked out for you. So my mom wanted me to watch a show with her, and I was like, alright, why not? And she's like, this is going to be our show. You can't watch it without me. I'm like, I promise I won't, but I ended up really liking it. I've seen the first 3 episodes, and this show is really popular. I've been hearing about it for so long, so I was kind of curious about it, and that is Riverdale. It was really good. I wasn't expecting it to be that good, and I really enjoyed all the episodes I've seen so far. One thing I didn't know about this show before going into it is that it's based off of the Archie comics, which is a comic book series that I've heard of before, but I've never read them. And when my mom told me that, I was like, wait, really? How? I guess it's based off of the characters from that comic book, but I'm like, I thought that comic book series was like a comedy series, and Riverdale is a thriller mystery kind of series. I'm like, wait, what? It didn't really make sense to me, but then I got that it's just based off of the characters, which I think it's really interesting how they took the characters and put them in this different setting. So it was really good. It made me actually want to read the Archie comics because now I'm curious about him because of this TV show, and I definitely want to see more of it. It is so easy to get sucked into. So many twists. Just, I want to watch it again right now, but I can't watch it without my mom, so she needs to watch it with me, like, right now. But I really liked it. I can't give it a official rating because I've only seen like the first 3 episodes, but right now it's about like a 4 or 5 stars so far. I'm really enjoying it. The next challenge was to watch a TV show or movie that featured your favorite actor. So, one of my favorite actors is Zac Efron, also my celebrity boyfriend. Just putting that out there. I love him so much. I've loved him since High School Musical, and I think he's such an amazing actor. I've always enjoyed every one of the movies I've seen him in. I almost chose to rewatch The Greatest Showman, which he is in, but then I realized that that movie isn't released on DVD yet, and I'm not sure if it's in theaters anymore either. But I probably wouldn't have even had time to go to the movies and see it again, nor do I have the money. So I was like, I can't do that one. But he has a movie on Netflix that I ended up rewatching actually, and that is Charlie St. Cloud. I had seen this movie a long time ago, and I could not remember anything about it. I think I watched it when I was a lot younger. This came out in like 2010, so I was about 13, was I 13? Yeah, I think I was 12. I was 12. Could not remember. And I couldn't remember anything about it, so I rewatched it again, and it was okay. It is about this guy who Zac Efron plays, and his brother ends up dying. I don't think this is a spoiler because I'm sure that's what the whole movie is about, and he ends up seeing his brother every time they go to their meeting spot to play catch, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like a ghost or if he's just hallucinating. I think he is hallucinating seeing his brother. That's the basic plot. Like, he has to meet his brother at this spot to play catch every single day before like sunset because he made a promise to him that he always would before he died. And I liked it, but there was something about it that just made me hold back from enjoying it as much as I should have. I think I wasn't really connected to the characters, and a lot of the plot didn't really make sense to me. And I think that's due to the fact that it's like a magical realism kind of plot with this guy being able to see his dead brother, and it was hard to believe it, and it made it kind of confusing for me. So that's why I kind of like didn't love it as much as I should have. So I gave this one like a 3-star. Like, it was okay. Most of the stars are probably because Zac Efron is in it, not gonna lie, but I enjoyed it. It could have been better for me. So a 3 stars meant it was just okay. And the next challenge was to watch a book to movie or TV show adaptation. This one, the one I chose, was perfect because I had already planned to see this one in the movie, so I'm like, I'm gonna fit it for this challenge. That is Every Day. I've mentioned so many times, Every Day by David Levithan is one of my favorite books. They got an adaptation that I had been dying to see. I saw it on Saturday, and oh, it did not disappoint. It was such a fantastic adaptation, at least to me, and me being such a big fan of this book. If I say the adaptation is amazing, please trust me, because that is big of me to say. I really liked it. I think in a lot of ways it did stay true to the book. There are some things that they did change, but some of the changes they made actually really worked. Like, I didn't think any of the changes they made felt out of place or didn't go along with the story. They added things to the movie that the book never did that I think really made the story more enjoyable, and I thought it was just really well done. I'm going to stop talking about it right now because I do actually want to do like a full movie review video on it, so I'm just going to leave it at that before I go too far. But long story short, I really love this movie. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. The adaptation, really well done. I highly recommend to go see it and to read the book because it's one of my favorite books of all time. The next challenge was to buddy watch a TV show or movie. So my mom picked out this movie for us to watch because, knowing my mom, she picks out a lot of TV shows and movies that she wants to watch with me, and I have to give in. And she picked out such a fantastic movie. It is a Netflix original movie, and it is called When We First Met. I knew I was going to love this movie because it is about time travel, and I love time travel. I've said that so many times before. One of my favorite themes and tropes is time travel. This one is about a guy who meets a girl on Halloween at like a party, and years later he doesn't end up with her when he was really in love with her. She's marrying another guy. And so he's depressed, and he ends up going to this photo booth to take like a picture. And this ends up being a time-traveling photo booth, and he goes back to 2014 when he first met this girl, and now he has a chance to change the future to where he could possibly end up with this girl in the present day. It's such an interesting plot. It's definitely a plot that's been done before, but what I love about this movie is it was so hilarious because this guy had to keep going back in time because he would change the future, but it wouldn't end up the way he wanted. Like, things with this girl would get really weird, so he's like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. So he goes back in time, tries to fix it again. He makes the future worse. Like, it was so freaking hilarious, and I just loved it so much. It was funny, but it also had such a good, heartwarming story to it. And yeah, I just loved it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely watch this movie if you're into like romantic comedies. This is such a good one. And finally, the last challenge, the 10th challenge, was to catch up on a TV series. So since I'm not watching a lot of TV shows, I didn't have really much to choose from in regards to this challenge, but I had one in mind, and that is Black Mirror, which is a Netflix original TV show. I finished the first season, and I wasn't finished with the 3rd season, so I'm like, let's just catch up on the 3rd season. And I did accomplish finishing the 3rd season, and it was pretty good. This show, if you don't know, is an anthology show. Each episode is a different story, which is really interesting, and the whole show revolves around instances where technology screws up or becomes dangerous, or ways in which humans misuse technology for like evil purposes. It's a really interesting show. All of the episodes really mess with your mind in so many ways. A lot of the episodes really blow my mind, where I just sit there like for like a half hour after it being like, what did I just watch? Like, I love shows and books that make me think like that, and this is definitely a series that will really make you think about technology and how it can become dangerous, and it also makes you think about what could happen to technology in the future, where it could be something that isn't very good. And I just really love this show. Specifically for the 3rd season, I loved a lot of the episodes in it, but the 2 I watched during this view-a-thon, I didn't really love them. Like, I thought they were okay. I thought the first one I watched was just like okay. The other one was a little better, but the ones prior to those ones that I watched were so good. My favorite episode out of this whole series is Shut Up and Dance. That one blew my mind so much that like I could never forget it. Such a fantastic episode. It is my favorite out of the series so far, and I can't wait to watch more episodes from this series. But the thing is, this is not a series you can binge watch because it messes with your mind so much. When I do watch episodes back to back, it just gets my mind so fried, and I become like, I can't take anymore. Can't take any more mind F's anymore. So it's definitely not a series you can binge watch, but I still cannot wait to watch more of the episodes. And that was my wrap up for the view-a-thon. I am sorry this is a long video. I just had a lot of things to say about these TV shows and movies, which is so weird because I used to not be into TV shows and movies, and now I am. Like, what is with me? So weird. And this was a really different video than what I usually do because I only talk about books, so this was really interesting. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And for the next video, we will go back to doing the regular bookish videos. And again, thank you for watching. And if you have seen any of these TV shows and movies, let me know your thoughts on it on the comments because I would love to know. Just please don't include any spoilers for the TV shows because I have not finished any of these TV shows yet and I don't want to be spoiled. And if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more bookish related videos. Maybe more TV show, movie videos in the future. I'll give that some thought. And I will see you guys